Hi guys, Pao here, or Pao, how Google Assistant says it. Welcome to my very first video tutorial in which I will show you how I made my latest tune day by day. And please bear with my shitty English and terrible accent, I hope it will get slightly better over time. Anyway, I hope you'll find this useful, and to begin with I'll play you the whole tune so you know what you're going into, and then I will break it down for you and show you how I made everything in tune. So let's begin.
Yo, check this out.
Okay, so that's it guys, that was my latest tune day by day. I hope you like it, and let's dig in. Let's start with the drums. So basically everything you can see on the screen, oopsie, sorry, is a beat, and this pattern is the main body of the beat, and it was the very first thing I started when I started this tune. Sounds like this. As you can hear, it could be a bit better, so I've added some more layers. Here are some percussions. Here are some crashes. And here are some rides. And all together it sounds like this. Which I believe has the groove, or at least way better groove than the original pattern. One thing I'd like to talk about regarding the beat is this swing slider, which basically makes your beat sound like it was played by the live drummer, making those drum hits slightly more random. And I will just turn it all the way down and play it without it. Sorry. Yeah, so this sounds really weird. And let's put it back on again. I would say it's much better. I've got only one problem with this thing, and it's that it messes with everything you have in here. So if you have here some instruments or piano notes, I don't know, it will make them go all over the place, and basically it will mess everything up. Everything else except the beat where it sounds good, yeah. But in this tune I was really extremely lucky, and as you could see when I was playing the tune, it's whole made from samples. There is no VST instruments except a few addictive drum instances that I use for drums, but otherwise it's all samples. Yeah, as I said, I got really lucky, and few bunch that fell really nice. Yeah, it sounded really nice with each other. And so I could experiment with swing a little bit, and yeah, it can come in handy from time to time. So that's a swing, and now let's talk about the variations, which I'm guilty of not having too many in this tune, but let's look on what I have. So here's the first one, just this little gap that works really nice with the pace. Yeah, so you can see I've used it multiple times in the tune, 3 times to be exact. Now here goes this little breakdown and this transition from this part, like the second part to the third part of the tune. As you can see, there's a reverse crash and also a regular crash. And those two elements basically make this transition sound a bit more smooth and natural. And this space where the beats go completely silent also gives a nice room to the new samples that are introduced in this part to the composition to really stand out, so you can hear them really clearly. So let's hear how this transition sounds. Yeah, I love this part. And here's the last thing, and it's this little filter sweep. It looks complicated, but isn't. Just those automations tells this filter basically to turn on and off again. Here is the automation for the low pass filter frequency, high pass frequency, and also peak for the high pass and peak for the low pass. So it doesn't sound so harsh when it begins, and it is not so heavy on the heights. So okay, again, let's play this one. Yeah, you could hear there's also the second crash and this cute little scratch sample. Yeah. And I think that's pretty much everything I can show you about the beat on the screen. So let's go here and I will explain how I manage my drums in the mixer. And what I do is basically that for every sample or VST I have in here, I create a separate channel in my mixer. So yeah, that's it. And after that, I create a few submix channels, one for kicks, snares, hats, and percussion. And then there is like the final ultimate drum mixer bus, where every instrument eventually comes through. So yeah, why do I do this? It basically it has some advantages. You can filter those submixes separately. You can like compress your layered kicks or snares or EQ them. I also like to side chain my instruments to the kickmaster bus, not to the like single kick channel. Yeah, and basically all boils down to your creativity, to what can you do with it. You can of course do it very much differently. So I think that's it about the drums, and let's go to the next part of this tutorial, and this is the guitar. Alright, so here's the guitar. Let's look at it a little bit more closely. As you can see, I've chopped the original sample that sounds like this. But there is not much of the difference you can hear in the tune, and that is just because I wasn't really satisfied with the rhythmics in the original sample, and I had to like help it a bit to sound a little bit better with the beat. And I think I've achieved what I wanted. Okay, so first let's look at the automations on the main guitar, which is this high pass filter frequency in the intro. Yeah, everything else is muted now, so you will hear just the guitar. Also pay attention to this reverb. As you can see, just in the intro, and then it fades off. This automation tells this filter to turn off after the intro ends. And yeah, here's the reverb. There is some more filtering in here, but it doesn't do pretty much nothing in here because there is no samples playing. And here are the samples, but the main guitar sound, it's muted by this volume automation. So you can hear this low pass filter pretty much here. And it's another element that kind of adds to the nice sound of the transition. Yeah, what you can hear in this part though is another layer of this guitar, which is basically again this same sample, but it's routed to the different channel in here, and it's just this a little bit of spice that you can hear clearly now, but in the whole mix down it gets quite lost, and it's there just to spice it up a bit, make it a little bit more not interesting, sorry. And how I made this is that I took the original sample and I rotated it into this channel, but as you can see, it doesn't go to the master from here. It goes here and here, and this channel is the main guitar track, what you can hear, and this is the panned section controlled by this automation, but it's just same sample, just routed to the different mixed channels. And I've done it because if I would have to duplicate this, it would be pain in the ass, so I'm a lazy person and it was very much quicker. And here's this one track that goes straight to the master. It was originally also routed from this channel, but I had some really weird problems and I couldn't hear this in the rendered version of the track, so I bounced it, and so it goes straight to the master now. It's not affected by this chain. Okay, I will play with the backing track now. It's basically pretty much the same guitar, but it's affected differently, and it's kind of silent in here just to make the main sound of the guitar a bit more full. So this is how it sounds alone. Oh, I was just messing with this. I was experimenting. I wasn't really knowing what I'm doing, so if you think this is bullshit, yeah, it may be bullshit, but I think it sounds, when I put this back on, it really kind of makes the sound a little bit more full in your face and also like more present. Yeah, I've got some troubles looking for the right words, but I hope you could hear it when I was showing it off. Yeah, and that's almost everything about the guitar. Here's just this second reverb. That's another transitional element which makes the guitar go all over the stereo and basically then blend into the rest of the mixdown. Yeah, and that's it. So let's go to the mixer. I'll show you the effects I have here. Basically, there is a lot of garbage as I was experimenting with the guitar and I didn't delete the plugins after. So here's just some filtering active and some reverbs that are also being automated. Okay, the backing track is bounced, so no filters on that. And yeah, the panned guitar channel has only this a little bit of boosting of high ends. And then I rolled off all the low frequencies on the guitar to make some more space for the bass. And that's pretty much everything about the guitar in this tune. So let's move on to the next part, and this is, well, let's call it the sauce. And yeah, it's everything else except what you just saw. Well, this is the sauce, aka the rest of the tune. I'll maybe start with bass because it's the most simple element in here right now, and it's just this one sample. I'll mute the guitar and unmute the bass so you can hear it with the beat. Oh, Jesus, so good. Yeah, sounds really like it's a real bass recorded. It's so sexy, I love it. I don't even have much effects on it. Only thing I'd also like to show is this little neat trick. And this is basically what you want to do is that you want to have all your sub bass frequencies in mono, and this is exactly what I'm doing here. I'm using a mid-side equalizer, and I'm basically like cutting off all the stereo frequencies below this threshold. So below here it's everything mono, and above here it's everything like original mono and stereo frequencies of the sample. So yeah, that's the bass. And let's move to the background synth blocks. Well, again, unmute just this sample, and I will play it from the beginning because there is some nice progression, And as you can see, here's also a low pass filter that's making the progression more interesting. So this sample kind of emerges from the deep. You can't hear it almost in the beginning. So it was the intro, and after the intro there's just this little portion of the sample playing in a loop on and on and on till the end of the tune. And the purpose of this sample in the mixdown is solely to make it's a filler. Basically makes the background of the tune a little bit more juicy and a little bit more present in a stereo. Let's check out the effects on this one, and as you can see, it's this low pass filter that's automating in the intro, and also some cuts in the EQ, and of course some solid reverb. Right, let's go to this background piano sample, which is a background in the second part of the tune, but not so much background in the third part of the tune. Here's how it sounds alone. Oh, sorry, I've got to unmute it again. Yeah, I think it's a really nice sample, and it's maybe a shame I didn't work a little bit more with it. But screw it, the tune is finished, so yeah, screw it. And you can again see here's an automation. It's a volume automation, and it makes the sample to fade in the second part, and then it hits its maximum in the same time as the breakdown, and plays through the third part of the tune, and then fades out in the last part of the tune again. Yeah, I will show you the effects on it again, and it's filtered, so you can hear only the lower frequencies. Then there's this bullshit because I don't know why I've done this. It's bullshit because I'm filtering this out and then I'm boosting it, something that isn't there, so I've probably just forgot to turn this one off. And here's the limiter, and the limiter is making the side chain on this sample, and it's side chain to the kickmaster, as I've mentioned earlier. So I think you can hear it. No, here. Yeah. And in this part you can hear also clearly the Smurfy loop, as I call this sample. Can unmute it, and let's hear how does it sound. Yeah, basically this loop and the piano make the third part of the tune. So let's look at the automation on this, and you can see there's again some reverb, and it's basically the same effect as on the guitar in this first transition. Again, it makes this sample make go wild in stereo and then eventually blend, with this exception that I'm cutting it with the volume automation in here, so it's blending, and then like it stops. So I'll play it. Yeah, this, like, on the contrary, separates those parts, I think, quite nicely. And this brings us to the last thing in the composition, and this is this vinyl crackle. And I'm making the crackle a little bit richer with the help of RC20, which is kinda, it reminds me of Isotope Vinyl. It's kinda similar plugin, but way newer and prettier. So together it sounds like this. So this is more like the low hum, and this is the higher frequency crackle. Those two instruments, as well as the Smurf loop, are also side-chained to the kick. And the crackle is also filtered because it had some harsh frequencies, so I moved them out a bit. And yeah, this is a side chain, and here is the low pass filter that's again only active in the intro. And this volume automation basically does nothing. Again, I can delete it. Well, that's pretty much everything else. Only thing that's left in here is the master volume and master low pass automation that create this low pass effect on the end of the track. I will unmute everything back again so you can enjoy the effect in its full beauty. Yeah, so that's the fade at the end of the track. Alright, I think that's everything I could show you. So we are done for today, guys. I hope you find this helpful. If you like this video, leave me a comment. If there is something you would like me to focus on more in my next videos, let me know also in comments. And yeah, have a nice day. Bye.